Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoot, with we're back with the International Trainers League Week 4, Season 3, Week 4, against Trev, coach of the Brooklyn Blastoise. You may have noticed we didn't upload a Week 3 battle last week, and that's because that battle was a little frustrating and hacksy. So I didn't feel the need to upload that. If you want to catch it or check it out, you can find it on the International Trainers League website, or you can catch it on Noiver Nation's channel. Anyways, here we are with Week 4 against Trev, and yeah, looks like he brought some sand offense with Mega Charizard X, Haunter, Tornadus, Therian, and Chestnut, with of course the sand core of Hippowdon and Excadrill. And we brought physically defensive pivot Rotom and with Toxic instead of Will-O-Wisp for the Hippowdon. Really wanted to wear that thing down, and actually for a few other things, like maybe the Zard if I didn't get the Thunder Wave off with the Togekiss or something. And we have a defensive Togekiss with Thunder Wave, Air Slash, Baton Pass, and Substitute. Umbreon with Foul Play, and Baton Pass with we actually didn't carry Wish. But anyways, we got Trevenant also with Magic Coat, Rock Slide, Will-O-Wisp, and Leech Seed. Pretty unique set for Trevenant with the Cobble Berry and the Harvest ability. Mega Alakazam with Hidden Power, Fighting, Psychic, Protect, and I forgot the other move on it, to be honest. I wonder what that was. Not sure. And we got a specially offensive Lucario with Vacuum Wave, Flash Cannon, Aura Sphere, and Final Gambit for, just in case. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the battle here. I'm going to lead Rotom because it matches up well against everything except the Chestnut. Trev's team's phenomenal, and he does lead with Chestnut, which is fine. We can just Volt Switch out and go straight to our Trevenant, which does have the Magic Coat, which we will go for, assuming he has spikes. He goes straight away for the kill here with Seed Bomb, and Trevenant eats that just fine. I predicted a switch here to either Tornadus or Charizard, so I'll go ahead and just drop the Rock Slide, and I can just switch out to Umbreon accordingly here. Umbreon's mix set. It's incredibly bulky, and as I predict a U-turn here, or maybe another Hurricane, but really predicted a U-turn into not sure who, but I just Baton Passed so I could just bring in who I want based on who he switches to, and he brings in Excadrill. He brings in the Driller, and we bring in Godswood, the Trevenant, which is not shiny this week. And as he switches into Chestnut this time, we fire off a Rock Slide expecting Tornadus or Charizard, which he pulled the middle ground play and went Chestnut, which is good. And here we can go for the Magic Coat, finally expecting the spikes. And we do get to set up spikes despite not having hazards on our team. And we'll go for it again, predicting him to predict me to not think he was going for it twice. So I just went ahead and went for it twice anyway. And I get 2 layers of spikes up without having any hazard setters on my team. And I predict a switch on this turn as he goes to Charizard, and I drop the Rock Slide, which works out phenomenally for me. Bringing Charizard should be below half, which it does about a little over 60%. But here we have to switch out the Togekiss is predicting a roost or just a flare blitz in general. And we can just fire off a air slash, depending on what he does here. I meant Thunder Wave, not air slash. And he actually chooses to roost, which is not a bad play at all. And we can baton pass here actually, as he predicts us to go for the Thunder Wave and switches out to Hippowdon, which was predictable, I suppose. Maybe thought Excadrill more over Hippowdon, but I guess that was another middle ground play. And we can just bring in Trev in here. And we're actually going to go for the Magic Coat, trying to get our rocks up now, hoping the Hippowdon goes for rocks, because that would be sweet. And do we get it? We do not. He goes for Roar, which we will bounce back and roar him out. And he brings in, well, it brings in Tornadus, which is worst possible scenario for us. And here I wanted to switch out to Umbreon, which we do. I mean, we will switch into Umbreon every time on Tornadus there. He knocks off our Tropical Berry, which kind of sucks because we needed that for the superpower. He may pack. And he goes for the Hurricane and misses, which is very unfortunate. And we get the yawn off here. And now he either has to switch or fall asleep. So predicted his switch or U-turn. We can just go for the baton pass again and gain initiative once again. And depending on what he goes out to, we can go out to a number of different things. Here, as he brings in Excadrill, which is probably Sandrush, we can bring in Mega Alakazam and trace his Sandrush and fire off Hidden Power Fighting. But seeing that he wasn't Mold Breaker, we brought in Rotom Wash, as he cannot Earthquake us, and we can just fire off a Bullet Switch or a Toxic. And we do fire off the Toxic, landing on the Chestnut. But the Chestnut has the Lumberry. He was ready for the Rotom, which is probably why he led with it, predicting a Will-O-Wisp, where he would Lumberry that off, become healthy, and Seed Bomb kill us, knock us out, whatever you're gonna say. And now he sets up his spikes as we switch out to Trevenant here, and we can just go for the Will-O-Wisp, predicting anything but the Zard. And we get the Will-O-Wisp off on the Tornadus, which is perfect. And here we want to switch out into Umbreon on the incoming Hurricane. But we actually misclick and we stay in. And that is a dead Godswood. Sorry, Trev, my fault. So now things get interesting as the scale starts to turn. And here we just bring in Rotom Wash, as he'll have to switch or go for the U-turn, and we can just Volt Switch out. Just Volt Switch out on this thing. Prediction probably the Trevenant. I mean Chestnut, excuse me. Rest in peace, Trevenant. Nah, you're not dead, you just fainted. You're in a Pokeball getting better right now. And as we Volt Switch out here, we can bring in Mega Alakazam. And here we can trace the Bulletproof. But he switches out into Moto his Hippowdon, which we can 2-hit KO with Psychic. Modest Psychic will 2-hit KO. We trace the Sandstream, which it's not, it's irrelevant, it doesn't make a difference, doesn't do anything for us. And yes, look at that damage from the Modest Psychic. Here we just fire off Psychic again. If he switched out, something took big damage. Excadrill took, our out damage, and then we could just switch out to Rotom. So yeah. I think we made the right plays here. Now he brings in Excadrill, which is obviously sand rushed by now, and we can protect to stall out the sand. We haven't shown protect yet, and now we finally can, and now we can switch out to Rotom after taking a little residual sandstorm damage. Here I can freely Volt Switch again. If he stays in, that's fine. We just Volt Switch until he switches, and if he decided not to switch, we would eventually Hydro Pump. But here we can just Volt Switch safely and bring back in Mega Alakazam as he brings in Chestnut. Easy call because we do trace bullet proof, which makes us immune to both Haunter's stabs, assuming it's Scarf and Shadow Ball was meant to knock us out, or Sludge Bomb was meant to knock us out. We're immune to both now, and the Sand stops. Fire off a Psychic here, and the Alakazam picks up another kill. Critical hit did not matter. That was super effective from a modest Alakazam. He brings in the Tornadus Therian, though, forces us to switch out. We do not want to take a U-turn, a knockoff, or a Hurricane, because Mega Alakazams are janitor for the end. We clean up with that very easily. And he finally brings in the Haunter here and goes straight away for the Sludge Bomb, which was maybe predictable. I could have switched into Lucario, but it wouldn't have been worth the risk if he would have maybe went for Focus Blast or something to make sure he knocked out the Umbreon. And here he goes for the Shadow Ball, and I can live this and fire off a Flash Cannon. Actually, I can't live this because it's a critical hit. What can you do? Anyways, we bring in Rotom Wash here. Since he's obviously not Scarf now, we can just get some damage off to break a potential Sash, and then bring in Alakazam and kill with the Psychic. Mega Alakazam is putting in the finest of work in this match. And we trace the Levitate, which potentially could matter if Excadrill wanted to Earthquake or something, which wouldn't Earthquake a Levitate Mega Alakazam, or I wouldn't anyway. Then he brings in the Tornadus Therian once again, forces us to switch out once again. And here we can just kind of sacrifice Togekiss and try to get some residual damage on the Tornadus to get it in range of Mega Alakazam Psychic, as Zardex will be upon switch in, and maybe predicting the Mega Zardex to try to come in and maybe set up on this turn on a U-turn or a hard switch. We can Baton Pass out, and he actually brings in the Excadrill, and we can Baton Pass out to Mega Alakazam, which does outspeed. He was shown not to be Scarf, switching his moves up, and we can come out here. We can trace the Sand Rush, which doesn't matter because sand isn't in the game anymore. And we fire off a Hidden Power Fighting, which does kill from this range, especially because we are modest. And here he brings out Tornadus yet again, forcing us out yet again. I'm getting tired of saying that. And he goes for the knockoff here. He's burnt, so it will not do much damage to us, and we can fire off the Volt Switch, predicting, either him to stay in and let Tornadus take damage, or predicting him to U-turn out or hard switch out into the Charizard X to maybe try to set up and win. But after taking Spikes damage and Volt Switch damage, we can safely go out to Mega Alakazam and fire off one more modest Psychic. And I calced this, and if it was a low row, I had a chance to not knock it out if it was a bulky variant of the Charizard X. It was by like 1% though, so yeah, we pretty much had that knockout guaranteed. And here he brings in the Tornadus Therian, which is his last Pokemon, and we just need a few turns of residual damage so we can sacrifice Togekiss and Rotom Wash to get that damage off. That nice burn that Trevenant did set up. Thank you very much, Trevenant. And we avoid a Hurricane, which I'm not sure if that mattered, because like I said, all we had to do was burn some turns so he can take some residual burn damage, and Mega Alakazam can pretty much come in and clean up, and we can sacrifice Rotom here. And the plan is to go into Mega Alakazam here, go for Protect, see how much HP is at, and then fire off the Psychic. Had I thought he would live, I could have switched out the Rotom here, and I would have regained health from Tracing the Regenerator, and I could have switched back in one more time on the rocks easily without even a doubt of, thoughts. And Mega Alakazam picks up his 6th KO there, knocking out the Tornadus Therian, picking up a nice 2-0 win against the Brooklyn Blastoise. That was a great game. Shout out to Trevor. Go check him out. His description, or his link, will be in the description below. That was a phenomenal match, and we will be back in week 5 next week against the Chicago Grand Bulls, and we'll see you there. Thank you guys for watching.